I'm going to brave the Nordic barren landscape of Wisconsin to go to video game coding camp, Chad, which is a very poor decision. Very poor decision, Chad, especially in the dead of winter where it gets to like negative 40 degrees, Chad. You die out there. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video.
Oh, did I just hallucinate a train station? This is the train?
Infinity Train is it's a sci-fi mystery comedy series, chat. It feels like an amalgamation of, at least of what I've watched so far of the first season, chat. It feels like a amalgamation of Adventure Time and Gravity Falls, chat. That's why I kind of get the sense of it, you know, where the first season, and you're following this girl named Tulip, chat. She lives in Wisconsin, you know, and we just find it opens where she's just on the goddamn bus with her best friend, chat. They're talking about nerd things because they're nerdy, chat. She's excited because she's going to be going to video game coding camp, chat, for a number of weeks, you know, after the the school season has ended, chat. And apparently it is endless winter in the state of Wisconsin. I'm just like, what kind of fucking camp is this? Where you're saying you kid to a camp in the middle of winter, chat. I imagine Wisconsin, it's negative 20 degrees constantly. You gotta deal with White Walkers every once in a while. It's like, send your kid to fucking coding camp. Like, I know you're gonna be inside and shit, but probably send them to camp, you know, in the summer, the spring, chat. But again, it just might as well be spring and summer in Wisconsin, chat. It could always be snowing right there. It could be very much the North in Game of Thrones, chat. But we're following good old Tulip, chat. She's you know, I like it, chat, because what made her instantly charming right off the bat, chat, was having her voice actor. Her voice actor is Ashley Johnson, chat, who famously voices Ellie in the Last of Us series, chat. And I was like, I want to hear like Ashley Johnson more things, because I was struggling to like, what else has Ashley Johnson been in? I know she did that Minecraft, that Telltale Minecraft game series, which I played one episode, and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. Obviously Last of Us, which I love both games. But she was, throughout this entire show, chat, even when you're initially introduced to her, great, because right off the bat, she's weird, but she embraces her weirdness. She's very smart, and she's funny. She's very funny. And you see her bonding with her friend or her best friend on the bus, chat. And there's already like weird little details about her. Like, she has a very specific palate when it comes to food. And like, she just eats onions like apples for some reason. And I don't, I was like, why? Her friends always making fun of her for it, like, as they're walking. Because you know what, chat? It was what this charm of the series reminded me. It reminded me of my own childhood in Buffalo, New York, chat. Which again is the city of Buffalo is always in an endless winter, at least for 8 months out of the year. I mean, the 3 months we get where it is sunny, where it's fucking humid because of goddamn Lake Erie. But those 8 months, chat, endless fucking winter and darkness. And I love it where it's just them getting off the bus stop and you see all the snow, blanket all the homes and things. They even had that gray slushy snow on the ground. Like, I remember that gray shitty slushy snow. It spoke to me in my youth as a child of Buffalo, New York, chat. And you're just following them and you're getting the sense of what their friendship is and the fact that these are these two, nerdy girls who just love the stuff that they love and they have their confidence about it. So already off the bat, chat, you're instantly charmed by the character of Tulip and Ashley Johnson. Like, even the little subtle things that I love that voice actors do. It also, in a way reminded me of Harley Quinn, the animated series. Now stick with me here. And where the voice actors will go like, like that, and the characters like lips and facial face animations will match what the voice actor did, like the little subtle thing where if you heard that before, like, you don't often see that in like old cartoons where they go ja, ja, and it just matches perfectly. Like, Harley Quinn does that really well, in my opinion, when like Poison Ivy was like looking for something, and it's just like a certain charm about it that I really fucking dug. How's how do you live? Not well. Not well. And in constant fear of White Walkers. So, all right, it's like, the animation looks great. I'm loving the animation. I'm loving the tone that they're setting. The setting itself is really fun. And then where, like, we follow the two characters. I don't know her best friend's name off the top of my head. She only appears in this first episode, really. And they're walking to her home chat, and she instantly kind of stops, and the friend looks over at the house, and she looks at Tulip's face, and Tulip is instantly just kind of, like, distraught. No, not just, like, downcast. She's downcast, chat. And she goes, yeah, I guess it's kind of weird, right? And Tulip's like, what do you mean weird? And she's like, well, you know, your parents are divorced. And so now this is the big point of conflict in Tulip's life, chat. She is not dealing with the divorce of her parents very well. She's currently living with her mother. And that is just friction between them and also her dad. And her friend is also trying to understand it, but she's not really saying the right things, and she kind of makes it awkward. And so they leave on very awkward terms. She says, all right, well, call me when you get to video game coding camp. She goes, yeah, sure. She goes in her house chat. Mother's calling for her. She's like, because she's talking to her dad. And or you could tell, chat, like there's tension between the mom and the dad about the situation. About the divorce itself, like they still haven't really gotten over that. You know, they're not. I mean, they're not getting along, even at the distance that they have between them. And so Tulip, she doesn't want to hear it. She goes up to her room chat. And she's doing the whole thing where she's just, again, it's just so goddamn charming, where she goes to her computer, she's still learning about coding and everything, like a video game. It's a very simple game where you have she calls it good guy versus bad guy, where the good guy's on the bottom of the screen, the bad guy's trying to come down and get past it, and it kind of messes up. She goes, why didn't that work? And she looks at the book, and she goes, oh, and she like types some shit in there, and then it works. She's like, hell yeah, and she's like very excited about it. I just really dug it. It's very funny. But eventually, her mom's like, honey, you got to come down, Tulip. And, you know, she comes down and she says, listen, your dad can't take you to video game coding camp. She goes, why? What? We messed up the schedule. We're sorry. He had to go out of town. And it's just not going to happen. I mean, your dad's on the phone. You want to talk to him? She's like, no, I don't want to talk to him. Okay, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to you. You're fucking up the program, Mom and Dad. You're messing my life up. She's just very upset, Chad. She's just not dealing with this well. And eventually, Mom's will call off. She's like, listen, we can do something today. Just talk with us. Just please talk with us. And she doesn't want to hear it, Chad. She goes up to her room. Her dad even texts her, Chad. Very charming message. Her dad always calls her buddy or Bud. She's like, I'm so sorry, Bud. I'll make it up to you. She doesn't want to hear it, Chad. And so what she does, Chad, she decides. She's like, fuck it. I'm going to brave the Nordic barren landscape of Wisconsin to go to video game coding camp, Chad, which is a very poor decision. Very poor decision, Chad, especially in the dead of winter where it gets to like negative 40 degrees, Chad. You die out there. But she loads up, Chad. She gets her little snackums and things. She gets her books, her coding book, and anything else, Chad, her fucking notebook. And she goes out, Chad. She hops up and down from her second story window, and she braves the desolate, barren, snow-swept landscapes of Wisconsin. Thank you, Dogs, for the 5 biddies. Read Nia Brownie's comment. Nia Brownie, he can't take you to coding camp because he's taking his secretary to Puerto Rico. He probably was. Joey, she'll survive on cheese like a true. Yeah, she'll just survive on cheese. That's all you need. And so she goes out there, and she's been walking for like a goddamn long time. She had like it's finally like nighttime. It's like, ooh, that the temperature just fucking dropped like a goddamn brick. And she looks on her map, and she's looking at it, and she goes, oh, because on the pamphlet for the coding camp, it says just a hop and skip away. And she goes, a hop and skip away? That's 300 miles. It's like, you didn't think, Tulip, you're a smart girl. You didn't think that you thought that you would be able to get there, traverse the 300 miles just by walking. Are you crazy, kiddo? And she says, all right. Then she starts to get the hypothermia, Chad, starts to hallucinate like shit. And she continues to walk, and then she sees this, ba-boom! She sees this bright, glowing light come from the trees. And the way they deal with, like, lighting in these episodes is particularly great, Chad. It's very, very good, especially this first one. And you see it's kind of like that bluish, at night it's, like, very bluish and gray and black and dark. But then this, like, neon green light, like, comes through the tree line. And she goes towards it, Chad, and it's this massive train, chats, like this industrial train that is literally stories upon stories high. And then this door just makes an outline, chat. It appears and it opens. It just opens. She sees this bright, shining light, and then she's like, and she's overwhelmed by it. It encompasses her entire body, chat. And she comes to, and she wakes up, and she's like in the middle of a snowbank. She goes, what was that? What was that? Was I on the train? And she's like, oh, Jesus Christ. I passed out because you passed out because you have hypothermia. You should look if you have all your fingers. Tulip. And she continues walking, chat. Walking for quite a while, and she comes to, like, oh, just looks like ordinary Wisconsin, chat. You know, sporadic houses and barren, desolate wastelands filled with snow. A couple of snowmen. She's like, oh, little snow family, adorable. But then the one snowman's head moves and goes, ah, and she goes, ah, and chat, it's not a snowman's head. It's this little cute robot, chat, which has two personalities. Like, if you split them in half, they have very different personalities, chat. One is very positive and exuberant, and the other one is very negative and downcast all the time, chat. And this thing is just saying, are you our mum? And she goes, what? And she's like, are you our mumsy? And it's like, she's not our mumsy. And they constantly, like, argue. They not even argue. They just kind of go back and forth. They're actually very positive with each other, funny enough. And she goes, I don't know. I'm not your mom. She's like, could you help us find our mom? And she goes, sure. And she starts calling this little adorable robot, chat. It's got like these little derpy legs, these little derpy stunted legs, and this perfectly round body. It kind of reminds me of the sad robot, chat, from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Remember the sad Alan Rickman robot? It's very reminiscent of that, just by the design and the look. And she fucking carries this thing with her, and eventually, chat, she goes kind of this little adventure, experiencing all these things. She notices on her hand, chat, there's this glowing number, and she goes, ah, and she's trying to like wipe it off. She's like, what is this? And it's just like it's just a number for whatever reason, and she like it's just like been imprinted on her hand. And she's like, what the hell? And eventually, as she goes from train car to train car, chat, like each train car, because she thinks, okay, this is just fucking bizarre. Like, I'm on the train. She realizes, like, I'm just not out in Wisconsin now. I'm literally still on the train. And each train car contains a new dimension. And these dimensions, chat, in these train cars, they can either be very small. They could be in the same, length and width of the train car, which are massive, by the way, which are very large, or they can contain entire worlds. And she's just like, what the hell? She just doesn't understand what the hell's going on, chat. And eventually, she just fucking panics. She's like, I gotta get the fuck off of this thing. And when she exits one of the train cars, chat, she notices that she's in this barren wasteland that doesn't happen to be Wisconsin, chat, but it's like a desert. I don't even know how to describe it. Almost like a post-apocalyptic environment, chat, where these massive storm clouds are overhead, chat, with lightning bolts firing down everything, and it's kind of like barren, desert-like environment. She hops off the fucking train. One's like, where are you going? He just wants to find his mom. He just wants to find his mom, chat. And she drops off of this thing. She's just fucking booked. She's like, fuck that train. I'm not dealing with that. And eventually, she comes to like a little tree, and her feet get caught. Her feet, like, they get in like this quicksand like mud thing. She can't move, and all of a sudden, chat, she's like looking, because then there's like the earth around her starts to shake a little bit, and there's like, oh, it's like this thing, like this almost like this anthill starts to emerge, chat, and these disgusting giant cockroach dogs pop up, chat, and they go right fucking for her. Like, immediately. And she's like, ah! And she starts fucking, it's like a horror. It's like, it's not only like science fiction, drama, and mystery, it's also a bit of a horror show, too. Just some of the really disturbing monster designs in this show, and there are quite a few. And she fucking books it. And eventually she comes to this one room, which is like, every time you press on like the wall or the floor, it produces like a little cube. It's like Legos. She comes to the Lego dimension at one point. And she fucks around there for a while. That's when she decides, like, I gotta get out of here. That's when she realized she had this green number on her hand. She just loses it. And she goes back to that room, chat. She's using the cubes, like, wonderful animation throughout this, using the cubes to, like, keep the cockroach dogs at bay. But eventually, one of these fucking things get on her chin. You see, like, the underbelly of it, and it's like these little wiggling brown worms that make up its mouth, I don't know. And then when these things all part, chat, it has like this little hentai mouth, and it just begins like sucking on her face, and it slowly it slowly starts to drain her life essence, I guess, until fucking 1-1 comes to save a day. And 1-1, by the way, Chet, he's a fucking idiot. He's very dumb. He's like, are you my mom? He's asking the giant cockroach dog if that thing is his mom. It's like, it's not your mom, 1-1. And eventually he gets it off of her, and all of her fucking life essences, thank God, Chet, goes back in her body, and she fucking takes off. And she stops this thing. But she looks at her hand and she notices that the number goes down by 1. She's like, what does this mean? And that's a big mystery in the show, chat. It's called the Gomes. They're called the Gomes. I call them cockroach dogs. I don't know if was the Gomes mentioned. It might have been mentioned in the season. I didn't hear it. But I call them the cockroach dogs, chat. They're disgusting looking. They terrify me. I mean, cockroaches normally terrify me. They're creepy. They're big. They're very fast, chat. And every time they fly, it freaks me the fuck out. The last thing I want is one of those things to fucking land on me, chat. Don't want it. Don't need it. Don't want it. And she doesn't understand this. And like so many of these episodes that we find, with Tulip is she's going to each compartment. And it's constantly, I mean, it's always something new, and it's just the animators just doing all sorts of random things, chat. I mean, she goes to a dimension where you have these dinosaurs, like something, and it's always, episodes always starts on like one train car she just exited. You get one where she is interacting with dinosaurs that play baseball. I mean, it's goofy shit like that. She comes to a land filled with these kind of like crystal people, and they're walking around. You have to sing a song that comes from the heart in order to progress to the next train car. Like all these random things. Yes, spells on top of spells, challenges you have to complete to open the next door. Eventually, chat, she comes to one door, one compartment, and in this land, chat, it's filled with adorable chubby corgis, little corgis, chat, and they talk, and they all talk, and they're all adorable, chat, and these little corgis who form their own society, chat, called Korglandia, and they are ruled by their king Atticus the corgi, chat, and Tulip is taken to Atticus, the king of the corgis of Korglandia, chat, and this corgi is voiced by fucking Ernie Hudson, chat, goddamn Winston from Ghostbusters, and he is adorable, chat. Ernie Hudson does a fantastic job throughout. Is it Corgenia? Is it Corgenia? I call it Korglandia. But he does a fantastic job of voicing this little corgi, and he embraces it too. He's like, I'm gonna, like, you see all the dog-esque things that a dog would do, all corgi things would do, like, he's speaking so elegantly and so regally all the time, but he does typical dog things, like he fucking barks at his own goddamn reflection. Or he cocks his head to the side when he wants something or he's questioning something, and Tulip is like, okay, like she has to do it. And she comes to him, and he's like, "Hey, we'll definitely help you, but we got a problem. Our land is being destroyed. The great waters, which are 2 feet high, which are incredibly dangerous to corgis. They're slowly encompassing our land of Korglandia. And like, can we have your help?" She goes, "Of course." And he's like, "I'll help you." And probably the situation why it's so bad is it's near one of the doors, so we got to go to the next door. And so her and the fucking little pupper, they go up there, chat, along with 1-1, and they discover that this giant shadow monster that apparently is somehow connected with the water, slowly flooding Korglandia, it's just a spider in front of a projector. And she goes, "Oh, it's just a little spider. That's all this was." And then fucking Atticus jumps up and just eats it. She goes, "Oh," she's like, "No, this is musty. I don't like it." But she's like, "That's weird." She notices like this giant orb, and she presses down, and it changes something in the environment, chat. Like it erases like the bushes. It erases all the bushes for some reason. She goes, "What the hell?" And she notices that all these other slots basically are missing their orbs, chat. And if she removes the ground itself, like the dirt and the grass or whatever, chat, she finds this metal compartments filled with all these orbs. She's like, "What the fuck is this?" And then eventually they come to like more orbs that are missing, chat, and they see this giant mechanical hentai creature with like a like a geisha mask on, chat, like kind of similar to the mask that we saw Rami Malek wear in the Bond film No Time to Die, like in the trailers. It's like this weird hentai mechanical monster, and it's wearing this mask. And he's like, "Are you my mom?" And fucking this thing turns around, chat, and it's like, "Foremost target identified," and just begins shooting at them. Now like lasers or like fluffy shit, like literal fucking bullets, and like almost kills Atticus and Tulip in 1-1. And they're like, "What the hell is this?" And they realize this thing is harvesting these orbs from all the various train cars across the Infinity Train. Like, no one understands. Like, they don't understand why. Eventually, they drive this thing off, chat. They stop the water because they find the one orb, and so Corglandia is saved. But Atticus is like, "Listen, you guys help me, you help my people. The least I can do is join you on your journey and help you, Tulip, help you discover the mystery of whatever this number is on your hand, and also, just put an end to this, whatever this fucking metallic hentai doll face thing is." And she goes, "Hell yeah." And just the three of them, chat, throughout this entire season, because I think this is on like episode 2 or 3, and maybe it's like 2, where we meet Atticus, just intoxicatingly just charming throughout, like all three in the chat. Each voice actor does such a great job. And like I hate to even keep going on with the series, chat, because there's some like really big revelations, like what the numbers mean and who's the actual villain, chat, behind all of this. It's like, and how certain characters connect with the greater scheme of things of the Infinity Train itself. But it's just so imaginative and wonderful. And there's another great episode where they go to this the Chrome dimension, or the Chrome car, the mirror car, chat, and they play with like the perception of mirrors, and that introduces a whole nother character, which is now the lead character of season 2. It's just so imaginative and whimsical. And by the way, chat, this show is dark, okay? Like, this isn't like, oh, it's gonna make you feel good every single time. Don't worry about it. No, characters will die. Characters will die, and it'll shock you what happens to them. There's body horror in this series, chat, and I'm just like, Jesus. Reflections, the reflections dimension. Thank you, Troy. And I was like, wow. Okay, and really, what the series does with this with Tulip as a character, it's her, because I don't want to spoil too much for you guys if you haven't seen it, but the numbers are connected to a thing in a person's past or what they're experiencing, like a problem that they have. That's the numbers connected to, and based on the type of problem that you have, that's the number that you have on the train, and you basically go on this long journey throughout it, and as the number gets lower, you're growing as a person. You're discovering what the issues are in your past and in your life, and you're addressing them via the train and all these different dimensions that you're going into, and the friends and enemies you make along the way. And I know, I just love that the show, and even the villains we're introduced to, chat, in the season, they're not just the prototypical bad guys. You understand why they are the way they are, why they're so toxic, why they found themselves on the train, and why they can't escape it. It's an incredible show, at least in season 1 so far. And Tulip's journey, like, I don't know if Tulip's ever going to come back. I don't know. But, like, her ending and what she goes through is amazing. And that's why I want to, like, actually spend time properly, doing scene by scene breakdowns of this particular series, chat, because I really do think it's worth it. Within these 12 minutes, they fit so much content in here that I realized watching, like, okay, this deserves that same treatment as I've been giving these other shows. But yeah, everything from the characters, the writing, the animation, what they do with all the dimensions, chat, the voice acting, it's all spectacular. I mean, at least for season 1, what I can give it in terms of a review is just overall is better than Sex on the Double Toasted scale. Like, if this had just been one thing, this has just been a one-off, and this is it, I'd be like, wow, what an amazing season of animated television, chat. It is fantastic. Where do you watch this? It's currently, I think it's on limited time right now. It's a limited availability on HBO Max. You can watch all 3 seasons right now. I just started season 2. but I would highly recommend checking out season 1, chat. I haven't finished season 2, so I can't speak on that, how good it is. But I'm liking it so far. It's very different. It's very different in terms of the character they're introducing, which is interesting, especially because of that character's connection to the main character from season 1. I'm really, really digging it. Limited availability sucks me. Yeah, it does. So it won't be on HBO Max forever. But I want to again thank Troy for suggesting. Troy, you were the originator who suggested this series to me. So thank you. I mean, it's funny, guys. You suggested for me to review Gargoyles. I'm like, oh my God, Gargoyles is great. And you guys go again, suggesting a whole other series, which I wasn't even aware of, with Infinity Train. So I want to spend more time on this and giving this the scene by scene breakdown that it deserves. But what I've kind of told you already, it plays with a lot of different genres and does so much stuff so well. So highly recommend it, chat. How long's on HBO? I think it's on there for like maybe another month. It's not long. I think it's on there for another month. Here we go, chat. I'm actually on the Wikipedia page. The 3rd season began airing on HBO Max on August 13th with 10 episodes airing across 3 weeks. I don't know. I think it might be limited. Demon Lux, so when are you about to watch the 2nd and 3rd season? I'm going to keep watching, honestly, but I'm gonna do a proper scene-by-scene breakdown of them in the future. I think it'll be good. And I don't know. I might play around with the order of the episodes I've been reviewing just so I can talk about Infinity Train more. But I really dig it. Troy, thanks. I'm glad to spread the love of this show. It truly needs it. Yeah, I do. I do. And from what I've heard, that the show just gets even darker in the 2nd and 3rd seasons. And the 2nd season is darker, especially the characters that you're dealing with now. But yeah, I absolutely adore it, chat. I absolutely adore it. Highly recommend it. Thank you again, Troy, for the recommendation.